What is going on, guys? Eric White in the building, and no, I did not choose my last name, unfortunately. And a very long time ago, I made a video about iOS versus Android, or Android versus iOS. That was the second or third video I put on my channel, and I'm referencing that video, one, because you can click it right here and watch it, and two, because a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about in this video kind of refer to that video. Now, a couple of days ago, Tech Insider made a video called "Why Used iPhones Are More Expensive Than Androids," or something along the lines of that. And when they made that video, it sort of sparked my creativity, my imagination to go ahead and make this one, because I previously thought about that kind of idea of why iPhones are more expensive than Androids, and just that whole idea in general of why iPhones they just hold their value better. The first thing that I want to talk about and bring to your attention is the phone that I have right now. Now, this is the iPhone 6s Plus. I recently picked this up about a week ago, and the review for that is actually coming soon. I'm not just saying that this time. The review for that is coming soon, but I picked that phone up for around $220. Now, the phone that I'm recording on right now is the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, and the Note 8 has been my daily driver for as long as I can remember, for about 2 years now. And I recently just switched to this iPhone 6s Plus for reasons I'll discuss in the review. But when that phone first came out, that phone was $1,000. Now you can pick that phone up for around $290. And the reason why I'm bringing those prices up and bringing this to your attention is because the iPhone that is 2 years older, you can basically pick up for around $70, $80 cheaper than the Samsung Galaxy Note 8, even though the Note 8 is 2 years farther in technology and advancements in the iPhone. You might be saying, okay, what does all this mean? Why are you bringing that to my attention? Obviously, a phone that is 2 years later in release date would be a little bit more expensive, but there's something a lot deeper that goes into that. Take, for instance, the Galaxy Note 5. Now, this phone was announced the same year as this iPhone 6s Plus, and that phone you can get for $120 as opposed to its $750 original price tag. That is a little bit weird that you can get an iPhone that was released the same year for twice as much as the Samsung Galaxy Note 5. And the phenomenon doesn't just stop there. The iPhone 8 that just came out barely 2 years ago, you can pick that phone up for around $780. And the iPhone 10s that just came out last year is available for around that same price. So there's a recurring theme, and the iPhones tend to not lose their value as much. So I went online and I started doing a little bit of research, and Declutter, which is also talked about in the Tech Insider video, Declutter did a study on the average depreciation for a smartphone. And if you look at this chart, you will see at the top that Apple is first, which means that they don't really depreciate in value. Their phones don't really depreciate in value, as opposed to the other people on the list, the Samsung, HTC, and LG. Now, I want to draw your attention to LG because that is the most rancid example of how bad this can be. The LG G8 ThinQ that came out in March of this year, of 2019. This phone came out in March of this year. Originally came out with a price of $850, and not even 6 months later, you can pick this phone up on eBay for $320 or $330. Way less than half of its original price. Now, literally, you can go into AT&T right now and get this one for $830. But you can also go on eBay and get a relatively new phone, not even 6 months old, for $320. If that isn't absolutely ridiculous, I have no idea what is. The fact that this phone is not even 6 months old is already less than half of its original MSRP. This has never been said for any Android phone, let alone a Samsung phone or any other phone like that. The fact that it drops in value that much. So it got me thinking, why? What's the reason behind this? Why? I don't understand this. Now, the first thing we have to realize, and the reason why this is happening, is because Apple is the most recognizable brand in the world. And you can fact check me in the comments, but I'm 100% certain they are the most reputable, most recognizable. As soon as you see that Apple with the bite out of it, you know exactly everything about it, which is interesting because a lot of people know more about Apple than they know about any other company in the world. They can tell you all the devices they have, but they can't tell you anything about an Android phone, that's a totally different story. But Apple is the most recognizable brand. They're the first $1 trillion company, regardless of how long they were the first $1 trillion company. The fact is they held that title for a smidgen of time, And that means that they have a lot of money going in and out, meaning people are buying their products, meaning that people know what they stand for. They're the most recognizable. People know what they're getting themselves into when they get that iPhone every single year. And the more people know about that iPhone every single year, they know exactly around September and, you know, around Christmas, they might be getting a new iPhone. They know when they open that new white box how the phone works. Albeit the iPhone 10 was a little bit different in the way that it functions, especially with the gestures, the Face ID, and how you use the phone was pretty different. But the learning curve is so small that a lot of people, once they stopped using their iPhone 10 or they went to another phone, they picked it up using it like an iPhone 10, swiping up and everything like that on a regular iPhone or even an Android device because they're so used to that functionality on the iPhone. Now, besides it being familiar and the most reputable brand, the updates for the iPhones are supported way longer on iPhone than they are for Android. For instance, right now, my iPhone 6s Plus just received the update for iOS 12.4 just yesterday, and I'm going to get that iOS 13 update in September when it does come out. Now, the Samsung Galaxy Note 8 that I have right now, this phone stopped getting updates barely a year and a half after I got it. It was already late to the software that I got with it. It barely had Android Oreo when I got it, and I don't think it's gonna get anything later after that, especially 2 and some change years later into the game. As opposed to the iPhone, which just now, you can go read about this right now, they just now are not supporting the iPhone 6 and the 6 Plus and this iOS 13 update after supporting it for almost 5 or 6 years now. That has never been said for any Android device ever. The only device or company that's getting close to supporting updates for that long is Google, and Google only supports it for around 2 or 3 years guaranteed, OnePlus being right behind them. The updates make the phones retain their value so much longer because your device isn't just going to get left in the dust and immediately depreciate in value with software and hardware right after you buy it, which is a very, very huge deal. So in conclusion, I guess that the updates, the most reputable, most recognizable, the familiarity of the Apple brand is sort of what keeps them, and those are things that you can't necessarily buy. You just have to attain them over time. So can a company attain this? Can they somehow regain their value and, you know, have less depreciation for their phones over time? The thing is, it takes time for that kind of thing to happen, so no company is going to do this anytime soon. Samsung is on their way there. Their phones tend to retain a little bit more value than LG and HTC, especially since they're a more wider known brand than LG and HTC. So we could possibly see that in the future, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. Apple as a company is starting to change and evolve and starting to listen to their customers more. So if anything, that value might go up, but we don't know. That's all I got for you guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure if I missed something, if there's something you want to fact check me on, if there's anything you want to see a video on, go down and leave a comment down below. While you're down there, please click that like button, turn it blue, click that sub button, join Innovation Nation, and just like always, I will see you guys in the next one.